Hey guys, welcome back to Coolest Gamers. I'm Pete.
I'm Dylan.
And we're back finally. We're a couple days late here. We're back for Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode 2. Dill, the last time we had a little bit larger of a crew here,
Yes.
just us this week.
Very impromptu. That's,
Yeah, very
20 minutes ago we scheduled this.
Literally very impromptu.
Yeah.
We had to get it done so I could get the edit going. Last episode, we didn't have our two title characters there in Bucky Barnes and Sam Wilson meet. Mm-hmm. It was very introspective of looking into who they are as people, what they have gone through 6 months now after Endgame, and we learn a lot more details, I feel, especially with Sam, than we were shown in the other movies. So how did you feel about the first episode?
So I thought the first episode was okay. I never really looked too deep into a first episode. I thought it was good. I wasn't, blown up. I'm rarely blown away by an opening episode. I think this episode, to speak to your point, they're going to get together.
They have to, right?
Because it's only a 6-episode show, so I think even if it's towards the end, I think we're going to see it this episode.
No, I 100% agree, and I guess a final point before we start here is a new person was crowned Captain America at the end of last episode.
That's right.
How do you think you're going to feel about that character?
He looks like a bit of a goofball,
yeah.
So I'll probably enjoy him, honestly. I think he's going to be probably a funny character to make fun of.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm interested. What's his name again? He's got a hero name, right?
Yeah, so in the comics, it's been a few names. The most recent one is U.S. Agent. I imagine that character is going to be. I won't talk too much more because I'm assuming we're going to get to know him in these next couple episodes. So, yeah. So that's pretty much it here, guys. We're just going to jump right in the episode, and we'll talk about it after. So without further ado, here we go.
Thank you for tuning in. The government, by the way, they're all assholes. They were assholes in WandaVision.
Yeah, they're always up.
They're assholes in the show.
They're assholes in real life.
But
You're a new Captain America.
I can't believe we're at this place in the MCU.
he just looks like such a...
Yeah.
He honestly looks like if Caliber was in the MCU. That's exact... Come on. That's exactly...
That's what he would be playing?
That's exactly.
I can see it.
The smug face, that's exactly it.
There was so many good memes out of that.
Oh, I'm sure there were. I know, I have...
It was like expectation and reality, and then it was the two Captain Americas there.
We have a Captain America at home. That's the Captain America at home.
Exactly. Inside the mind of him.
So he doesn't seem like he's not going to be a bad guy.
Yeah, I guess we'll see how they take it.
Right.
He's not been usually a bad guy in the comics. He's just
Gray.
a little extreme with some of the choices he makes.
Okay.
So, guess we'll see how they take it here in the MCU.
One of those heroes that makes gray choices. Yeah.
But I love that beginning. That was a really nice,
Yeah.
just insight to what that character is.
Yeah.
That JW character.
I'm happy they touched on it.
I guess I'll say the name. His name is John Walker. They're going with the version of John Walker.
John Walker, okay.
So, yeah. I believe that is a little bit of a change in the rendition of Star-Spangled Man, which is what they played for Steve when he sold bonds.
Yeah. Good way to give his backstory. In a
Great
creative
way.
Yeah.
Great way. Look at that. Look at him throwing the
wow.
shield. Nice.
Wow. I gotta be honest though, he seems like a nice guy.
Bucky?
No,
Oh,
no.
John?
Yeah.
John, at the moment, doing some great things. Now, will that hold up? Yeah, we'll see.
He's got to see the posters everywhere.
Oh, yeah. There's literally a hole down the stairs. Oh, wow. How about that?
Good to see you too, Buck.
That was early in the episode.
Very.
You didn't know that was gonna happen?
There we go.
Well, of course I didn't know that was gonna happen. Androids, aliens, and wizards. That's not a thing. That's definitely. No, it's not.
In this world, it is.
One of the three. So who are you fighting now, Gandalf?
How do you know about Gandalf?
I read The Hobbit in 1937.
That's true.
Yeah.
He would have.
You see my phone? No.
They're still doing the kind of brothers thing where it's like the former best friend and the new best friend where they're still very at odds with each other.
Yeah, oh yeah. Drives me nuts.
Oh, Bucky. Way harder to do than what Steve did in Winter Soldier where he jumped into the ocean out of the plane.
I have all of that on camera, you know.
And he fell 200 feet and he's
Oh
completely
yeah, no,
fine.
I know. Just needed a few minutes to rest.
Yeah. I wish I could do that.
Yeah, I know. Perfect.
He hates Red Wing Man.
Perfect arena for a fight.
Oh,
right?
definitely. Breakable walls,
Yeah.
no people around.
It looks like a Tekken arena.
Yeah, a little bit.
Little time of Wakanda, you come out White Panther. That's what I want. Hello, how are you? What did I miss? Nothing. All right, let's go.
This back and forth is great.
Yeah. That's such a classic scene.
It-
That
yeah.
happens in every...
It's like an Uncharted
Yeah.
game, yeah?
Yeah. Hostage.
No, it's the girl from Solo.
Yeah, I was gonna.
Strong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a feeling. This makes it more interesting.
How are they strong?
like
Yeah.
this? Yeah. Red
Oh
Wing!
my god. Imagine they die here at the end of the show. Oh!
Hey.
I was not expecting that. Wow.
Get John to come
Yeah, I
in.
was not expecting
The
that.
shot in the trailer. I know he fell 200 feet, but I still worry about it, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think getting run over by a truck would probably have a different result. Oh my god.
He's so strong, man.
I hope this guy doesn't die.
Nice.
No, this will be a fun
Yeah.
little chat.
That series doesn't exactly have a great track record, no offense. We need to figure. I see a guy hanging.
Do you know that guy from the comics?
Yeah, he's there.
I need a lot more than Lamar Hoskins. Battlestar.
Yeah, I mean, you knew that was going to go the way it went.
Yeah.
Look how far Bucky was.
I know.
He was gone.
Yeah, he's gone. Are we gonna get some scenes with the villain group now?
More
by
than
themselves?
likely, yeah.
Yeah, well.
Their cause is noble. It's just, it's the way they're going to go about it. But you can understand it.
Well, yeah, and I think it makes sense to try and replicate Thanos' mindset, right, to a degree.
It's not just Thanos' mindset, it's that things were probably working well after a time.
Right, but not Thanos' mindset, but Thanos' ideals, where you can understand them.
I wonder who we're meeting here.
My daddy told me it's black.
Because I'm black and I'm the Falcon?
Well, technically, yes.
So are you like black kid? I got him, right?
That's a good conversation to have, you know?
Oh yeah.
They do that so much, they'll call black whatever just because of a race.
Yeah, no.
It's like he's the only Falcon that's existed.
Right. Who do you think this is?
I don't know, and I'm very fascinated to know. That's associated with Bucky.
If I met you and I whooped your ass, then yeah, I'm not gonna talk about it anymore.
He's strong. That's a really, really powerful scene.
Yep.
How could nobody bring him up?
Deal with this crap too.
Is your ID? I don't have IDs. Why?
Just search is calm down.
I am calm. What do you want? We're just standing there.
They're only doing it to him, not even
Yeah,
Bucky.
right.
Hey, is this guy bothering you? He's not bothering me. Do you know who this is?
And so they're gonna be cool with
They're
it.
gonna ask for a picture.
Oh, God.
Yeah, because they're Avengers, they're gonna be okay with that. See, that's messed up, man.
Yeah.
That is total profiling. They completely profiled Sam
Right, yeah.
in broad daylight.
Yeah. Look at all the people out.
Yeah. You know how embarrassing that
especially
is?
in these kind of neighborhoods, man. This happens all the time, dude. It's
Oh, yeah.
horrible.
Sorry, Mr. Parks. You're under arrest.
Damn.
That ends up being him.
Damn.
See, you know what? I'm glad the show is doing stuff like this.
Yeah, they're really touching on a lot
We're,
of big
we're touching on
social
a
issues.
lot of big
Yeah.
social issues, and we're
Yeah.
doing it through what Sam has to deal with in 2023. We're
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
You know, like, come on, man. It's all the same.
I remember when we were in high school, like 2011, 2012, and I was like, maybe 10 years from now things will be better, and they're really,
No.
they're not.
No,
They
no,
made it
and
to-
it's fucked up, man. You know,
yeah, no,
it really
is.
is.
It is, yeah.
You see the Cap is back posters on the wall over there? He really wants them to work with us,
Yeah.
huh?
I'll be outside.
He's not doing the best to ingratiate himself.
No.
Freaky McGoy. I'm 100% fine.
It is my job to
You're not, Sam.
You
They really are like a bickering
No, they are.
old married
Yeah,
couple.
no, they are. They are.
You know what? Fine. You're here. You happy now?
All right, good. That's
Close. Very close. That's what you wanted, right?
guys.
Like you could tell they try not to laugh when they feel this.
Yeah.
So maybe he was wrong about you. And if he was wrong about you, then he was wrong about me.
Now we're getting the real.
Yeah.
Really great.
It actually got to a root of a problem. We just
Yeah.
didn't solve it.
Yeah, no.
Now that look, what's
And
wrong?
Sam was the one who didn't want to solve it.
No. You know, John.
Gentlemen,
He's
good to see you again. A word of advice then.
It's out of our way.
Yep.
Stay the hell out of my way.
Yep.
Yep. God. Well, Got the old team and the new team.
Well, yeah, he was actually pretty enjoyable for 5 minutes.
Yeah, and then
Now
went right
he got
down the
a
tube
huge
for you.
dick,
Yeah.
He's gonna sacrifice himself.
Oh yeah. Power Broker is also a comic book
Okay, I
character.
was gonna ask him.
Yeah. Well, we're just pulling out all the stops here, and Falcon Luminous Hologram.
I mean that world. Oh wow, that world is so massive. It's
That
like,
it's
why-
nice. It's
Yeah,
nice to
why
start exploring
Why
it.
create new characters? You know. Just-
No. And there's so many great, diverse characters.
sure, yeah.
So many. Really a bad plan on his part. You know, he didn't take out a single one of them. It's really, it was a bad idea just running straight for them, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he did stop them by pushing the light on the
Yeah.
ground. Yeah. If he had a gun, he maybe could have done something.
Yeah, or just jump from the building by, or I don't know.
Yeah.
So you're just gonna go sit in a room with this guy?
To go
Oh.
back to Isaiah, right?
He might be talking about Zemo.
Oh.
Like that kind of Hydra.
Oh. Oh. Wow.
That would not good.
We're gonna go see
Nah, not good. Not good because Bucky despises Zemo. Because remember he set him up. He made
Yeah.
it look like
No, I
he
know.
killed all those people.
Yeah.
This is
I love that music that plays.
great.
whenever they say
Zemo's one of my favorite characters in comics.
Where is he? He's in an asylum, right?
I would imagine. I mean, the last we left him, he was the prisoner of Martin Freeman. Remember his character, whatever government agent he was.
Right. Wow.
There he is.
Yeah, that's the end. Right.
Yep. Yeah. You're gonna do that to us, man. That just, just like,
Well, they always know where to end
like
it.
just a.
I want to fast forward to see if there's anything
God,
else
man,
before we chit
you're
chat.
gonna really do that to me with Zemo,
Nothing
man.
else. Nothing else.
It's just,
Nothing else.
God, I love. Thank you for checking.
Yeah.
I love Zemo, man, and I guess we'll start right there. Perfect talk before they say the name. I knew it was him. Perfect then to Sam and that beautiful like classical music,
Requiem, yeah.
and boom, we go right to wherever prison cell that he's in. That you would imagine that implies that. I just have a feeling, are they gonna, if they don't get access to be able to talk to him, which would be understandable given Bucky and his past,
Yeah.
they probably get denied. Are they going to break him out of prison?
Well, what's the benefit of Bucky wanting to talk to him?
He wants to talk to him because he can't go through Isaiah, which would know things about old secrets and Hydra places.
Okay, so he thinks Zemo,
Zemo would know all of those things.
Okay.
Remember, like he said, he found out about Siberia, which is where Bucky and the other super soldiers were kept.
Yeah, okay, for information.
So
Okay.
he would know a ton of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
But that's an awfully large risk.
Well, desperate times, desperate measures. I mean, what else can they do? They don't have any other leads right now.
Yeah, they don't have
and
really. They can't work with Walker now.
Even if they take this group head on, they got smoked.
That's all 4 of them. They
Yeah.
had 4 people all got
so
smoked.
yeah.
It's not. It's a.
They're
I
in a
guess
pretty bad situation.
They're in a bad
honestly.
situation. I guess it's a calculated risk, but given how Bucky is, I know he's been better and he doesn't have the Hydra secrets, like the mind control in him anymore. But he has a ton of reason to despise Zemo.
Yeah.
And Zemo, in turn, does not like him or any of these other heroes. Because remember, those Avengers, as he always, likes to always say, they killed his family.
Yeah.
Indirectly, but they killed them during Age of Ultron.
Yeah, well, what's also fascinating is remember the last line that he said before we got that scene was, "Don't hurt anyone." Almost like that was foreshadowing that he was going to see the Zemo guy that he despises.
Yeah.
So that scene even it holds more weight to it.
Between that and the Flag Smashers, there's going to be a lot of violence coming.
Yeah.
You could tell, but yeah, that I can't wait for. We only got that little. We'll talk more about Zemo going forward. We also, we saw some things in the trailer that we have a feeling are coming with him. The rest of the episode, Dill, how'd you feel about it? What's your highlights there in that episode?
Yeah, the social justice stuff I thought was really
Great.
well done. The
Great.
cop scene was great. Even the scene with the Black Falcon.
Yes.
I think it's important to have that kind of dialogue, and I think that's unfortunately stuff that happens just naturally in the world. Sometimes I don't ever feel this way, but I know a big complaint is like, oh, it's forced or whatever. It doesn't feel forced.
No.
I mean, that
No, not at all.
unfortunately is stuff that just happens.
He's a perfect character to have that, to explain those stories about.
Yeah.
I think that's perfect for him, especially look, the point is, right, is that he's a decorated guy, right? He's decorated in the military. He's decorated as an Avenger. And he still gets profiled.
Yeah.
And then as soon as they find out he's an Avenger, it's cool.
Yeah.
And he's good.
Yeah.
And that is something that unfortunately happens so much.
Yeah.
Right? And take it from, yes, you take it from two white guys here, right? It might not...
Two straight white guys.
Yeah, it might not mean a whole lot, but still I can appreciate the actual issues they're talking about and the art in the way they do it, in the way it's acted, and the way it's shot. And I think that was absolutely fantastic where there is times where certain social issues you could feel are forced in the show that it didn't fly, I guess no pun intended with Falcon, like naturally. This felt great.
Yeah.
Like it made complete sense of where we were going, what happened, given how much oversight, in terms of the government and as well as the police on the norm. I guess they're the same way. Even after everyone came back, it's the same thing.
Yeah, the profiling.
So you think the world would be a little bit better here, but clearly it is not in 2023.
No.
So I thought those scenes were really impactful, and I think we're going to get a few more of those with Sam. I think one of the reasons that he was upset when they were doing the therapy sessions, he just came from that.
Yeah.
And so he's still thinking about that and how much
you don't
he is
just
the
brush
face of
stuff
that.
like that off.
No, not at all. As someone who has had not favorable interactions with the police and being white and having guns pointed at me, I can tell you it's not a fun experience. I cannot imagine being an African American or being a person of color and what that's like.
Yeah.
So we won't talk more on that because we're probably not educated enough or you don't want to hear our opinion as much. But yeah, fantastic scenes, definitely the highlight of the episode. I also really love the crux of what they're going for in the show, which is what I wanted, which was like a buddy cop style, right?
Yeah.
And Bucky and Sam, they like low-key hate each other, right? Like
low-key, I don't know.
Yeah, like they're not like mortal enemies, but like man, there's a lot of animosity there, and it stems from when they first met and what Bucky was, in and out of being brainwashed, but then also it was the old best friend, the new best friend, right? Mm-hmm. And Bucky's coming at it from the side of he knew Steve way longer, they were best friends. Not saying that Sam wasn't, but to understand, to fight with him during World War II, to understand what that shield meant when he came back in 2011, and he feels like Sam just gave it away, just threw it away. I mean, how do you feel about after this episode of Sam's decision last episode to just kind of put it on display, even though it wasn't there for long?
Yeah, it's tough because I get, and that's what I think makes it such a fascinating conundrum, because I understand what Bucky is saying, because Sam ended up, Captain America ended up believing in him, and obviously, we know the relationship that the two of them had, and so if Sam does not believe in what Captain America was saying, then in a way, Sam does not believe what Captain America felt about Bucky. Yeah. And so you saw that in the therapy scene, but from Sam's perspective, he didn't want the burden, I guess. Maybe he doesn't feel that he deserves it.
I feel like he doesn't feel like he lives up to it, and maybe earn it, but also I think he wants to make it his own. I'm not stepping in like John Walker and I'm just putting on the suit and like, I am Sam Wilson. I've done a lot of great things before and after being an Avenger. Like, this isn't me, like he said, it feels like it's someone else's. Just like if anyone put on those wings, right? Those are Sam's, right? Like he's made that what it is.
Or someone puts on the Iron Man suit.
Exactly. So that's a very hard thing, and I like that the show is dealing with that, because in comics it's very fluid a lot of times. Like they'll deal with some things sometimes, but it's just like, hey, we're introducing a new character, and they're called Iron Man, and it's not Tony Stark, right? But with this, we're dealing with hey, taking up a mantle is like a huge undertaking, and you even see that way on John Walker in this, of what he's going through there. And I guess we're gonna see more of Bucky and Sam. I don't imagine by the end of the show they'll never speak again. Like they're going to go through those trials and tribulations, and then we're gonna get to the moments and the root of the problem of those two characters understanding each other and how they can move forward in a world without Steve.
Right.
I think that's the crux of it too. Is they both miss Steve.
Yeah, they have
and they both have two different mindsets about how they're supposed to go forward.
Right. When you lose someone, you have to basically process. You don't move on or forget about them. You process the death, and then you live in the new reality. And I think that they're both not necessarily comfortable living in that reality.
They're not
without
facing,
him.
I think, really Steve's death.
Yeah,
They haven't
and
gotten
that's
there.
something that I think I agree with you. We will see in this show.
Yeah, absolutely. I think also a transition here, since I mentioned John Walker. We're okay with John Walker for about the first 5 or 10 minutes. How are you feeling about him now?
Well, so first few minutes I was like, wow, he's really noble, he's really cool.
Yeah.
But then you can just see the arrogance come in, you can see the dickishness come in. Yeah. And I had a feeling that they were not going to try and build a very likable character replacing Captain America in the fashion that he did, especially because obviously we know how Sam and Bucky feel about him. Yeah. Obviously you want your viewers to side with Sam and Bucky, so I had a feeling he was probably going to be more of a dick as the show went on, and he absolutely was, kind of just trying to use his power to woo them in a way. It's like someone trying to spend money to buy someone's love, which we talk about a lot. I know that's a huge pet peeve that you have.
Oh yeah.
And it's absolutely true. You can't do that. It's just one of the shallowest things to do, and I think it shows that you really don't care about someone when you try to use money or power to win someone over.
He's absolutely doing that with his government pull, from getting Bucky out of prison to always just being there at the right time. I mean, I understand what they're saying, that Red Wing is government property, but still, it's a backhanded move to hack it to find out what is going on. You didn't do any of the groundwork that Sam has done tracking this group, him and Torres. You haven't done that.
Well, even with the cop car, right? We're always taught that if you touch a cop car, you can get arrested, but you can.
Nope.
And he's playing with the button and the siren in the parking lot.
Captain America, do whatever he wants.
I know.
And Steve would never do
that. Well,
that.
that's the part that makes you hate him, because that's not who Captain America is.
Yeah, and I like that we played it twofold, right? As the audience, you introduce us, and it wasn't a lie. You introduce us right up front that, hey, listen, John understands the burden that this role takes, that he is a little nervous, you could see there, right? There's some things that he wants to, I assume that's his girlfriend or whatever, he wants to impress, but also he wants to uphold the ideals of. He's a very decorated soldier. He's done, 3 congressional medals? No one's ever done that. So his qualifications and his guts, as he says, and his ability to want to do the right thing are not in question.
No.
What's in question is, will this role corrupt him a little bit and make him a little too arrogant and make him, the shoes are a little too big to fill, and that's going to change him from what he was as a regular captain, as a soldier.
I've also seen two differences: the way he is in the public eye in that Good Morning America presentation, and the way he is when the public's not watching. So I like that as well.
Yeah.
Figurehead.
Really love that. You introduce Hoskins as well, Battlestar. As I said during the reaction, there's some interesting interactions between those two characters on the comics. I think I went back recently because I was convinced that U.S. Agent like John Walker was like a 90s character. I think he was like 86 he came into. Okay. So it was around then. But when he comes in, it's just after Steve Rogers steps down from the mantle of Captain America, and the government very much puts him in the role, and he wears it. He does a lot of questionable things where he thinks he's doing it right, but he's a little over the top.
Yeah.
And that eventually ends up getting him in trouble. And then Battlestar, and you can correct me down below, there's another person that I'm not thinking of. There was 2 people that worked alongside John Walker's Captain America, and then he eventually ended up killing them when he's a super patriot. And then that goes down a whole rabbit hole. And then eventually he's rebranded later as U.S. Agent, which just becomes kind of a very similar character of like doing missions for the government in the name of America. We can talk more about that going forward. But really solid introductory episode for him. Really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I guess the final thing to talk about.
Carla.
Actually, there's I guess 2 more things. We could talk about her with the Flag Smashers. I'm going to be honest, at the moment, while their methods might not be fantastic, I can respect what they're trying to do. I mean, look, they're delivering medicine to a refugee group, right?
But I really think they are trying to replicate the Thanos effect, right? Because hear me out. Thanos is viewed as, I think, one of the best villains in a very long time. I think he's probably in 20, 30 years going to be looked back on the same level of a Darth Vader. I really do.
Yeah, it
I
could
really
be.
do.
Could be.
And I think the reason he was such a compelling villain, not only he had all the amazing quotes and moments that he had, which is something that made Vader very famous, but you have that understanding of why he's doing it, and you can almost understand it.
Yeah, it might be a little extreme,
right?
But you can get where he's coming
from.
What
you just said about this group, you could say about Thanos, and they're trying to, I think, replicate that effect, which is not a bad thing. It's not lazy. I think it's good because if you can replicate that effect and make someone sympathize with a group of villains, I think you can strike gold there. So I agree with you. I don't think what they're doing is wrong, but obviously their methods, because the only thing we know is that they're stealing medicine to give to refugee camps, but I'm sure it's going to get more destructive.
Yeah, I mean, we saw them robbing a bank last episode, so like, there's...
I'm sure innocent people are going to eventually die.
I would imagine, right? The idea is that the world was better during the blip for them, right? And so that the world, you have to imagine, was so broken when it first happened that after 2-3 years, people started to find themselves again, and governments started coming back online. And I guarantee, because of everything that happened, and they've hinted at it, the world worked together.
Yeah,
there was almost no borders. There was no America. There was no this. There was no super nationalism. It was, hey, we're all humans. We had a whole bunch of aliens come here and kill us, and one of them snapped away half of the entire universe. Right? Yeah. And probably most people are not even aware of that. They're just aware that half the planet is gone. They don't realize the repercussions that it had. Yeah. But for them, they go, well, we're all human beings. We need to work together. And you could understand how that ideal, which is an ideal, that utopia almost like, once that's gone and all these people could come back, you can understand missing that. And you can understand that she mentions here that those people that were here during the blip, that didn't leave, they're now forgotten about because everybody, including the governments, cares about who came back. Yeah. And very government-like, all the old people that were in power, she says that, they got re-put into power. And so that could be very frustrating. I can understand that. And I think that's dealing with real-world issues.
Especially if you didn't lose anyone that you loved in the blip.
Right.
Because then, what do you mean? Yeah. So I get it. I get it. I think that... Yeah, they did a very good job of world building in this episode.
Yeah, they did that, and also they mentioned the GRC, I believe it was, which is the Global Reparation Council. So that's people that are you're trying to help all the people that come back restart their lives. Right. So someone like a Sam that's not as and I hate to say privileged, just because look, Sam couldn't get a bank loan last episode, but someone who is an Avenger, right? There is Marquis there, right? All these other regular people. They've been gone 5 years. There's probably people living in their house. Their job is gone. And that council is supposed to help them. You could understand once again, though, how a group like the Flag Smashers would go, well, we've suffered this whole time. Right. We finally got the world to a place, and then you all came back, and now nobody gives a shit about us.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could sympathize with that.
Yeah, definitely.
The final part I wanted to talk about was Isaiah. Bucky goes and visits Isaiah, and we get a lot more world building here. Now, this is a character that I don't know if it's new or it's someone they're referencing from the past, so please feel free to educate me. But Isaiah was a super soldier in the 50s, in the Korean War, and when he was saying, I took half his armor, I'm like, man, he must have been a pretty skilled fighter, had some kind of weapon. Now, he was also a super soldier. And so now we know Bucky was a super soldier. We thought, he was the only Winter Soldier, right? Civil War showed, hey, we had 5 more Winter Soldiers, right? They were even more volatile than me, so they couldn't be controlled as easily, but they were definitely more powerful and maybe more skilled, right? Yeah. So we see that. It's all these people have stemmed from Dr. Erskine's original Captain American formula, right? It was not perfected, it made the Red Skull. He perfects it, makes Steve, dies. The serum gets stolen, broken, nobody is able to recreate it. Then we see Dr. Zola with Hydra. Remember the little short guy with the glasses? Yeah. He does a version of it. That's what goes into Bucky, right? And a little, that's how he survives the fall in the first Captain America, and now he's the Winter Soldier. You see later with the other Winter Soldiers, and now I guess the U.S. got involved in that super soldier market in the 50s. Yeah. We see it later, a version of the super soldier serum, is what created, ultimately, mixed with Gamma, Bruce Banner the Hulk. It also is what made the Abomination.
Yeah.
So this has existed throughout the entirety of multiple governments.
Yeah, I just wonder how many more are out there.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think that's what Sam was aggravated about, because Bucky didn't even tell Steve of, hey, this is another super soldier. And that makes me wonder a few things, but it makes me wonder that he remembers not just nightmares, he can remember a lot of details even now that he's not brainwashed.
Yeah.
Because he always seen him as the Winter Soldier completely brainwashed. And he knows where he lives, he looked it up, all that stuff. That's fascinating. I just want to know what more we're going to do with that character. I imagine we're going to come back to him at least one more time.
Yeah, I would be surprised if we didn't.
Yeah, and that was, again, real world issues we dealt with, because remember, black man in the 50s, 51, right? He's a soldier. He fights for the country. He goes up against a Russian super soldier, a Hydra super soldier, right? Yeah. And he comes back and somehow everyone forgets about it and he goes to jail for 30 years. Like the government just threw him away. Yeah. Like he didn't matter.
Yeah.
And that's another, I thought, very real world issue that they did a nice job of tackling in this.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
You could understand how upset.
Yeah, because nothing happened to Bucky like that. He didn't go to jail.
Right, and he even says, like, everything he did, right, it goes on Bucky's theme of, like, you don't get to just change who you are.
Right.
You did those things, and that's something Bucky's going to continually grapple with. That's his theme. But you could understand being, as Isaiah, angry as you were, that I was on the quote-unquote right side.
Right.
And my whole life got wasted. I got thrown in jail for 30 years, and you did all these horrible things, even 7-8 years ago. I mean, you're pardoned by the government, man. It's just okay. You can just walk around. That must be incredibly difficult.
Well, you saw how angry he got. I mean, he was going to try and kill him, I think, if they didn't leave. So
yeah, you can see the frustration. Yeah. So a very powerful episode here in episode 2. Definitely, not that I enjoyed the first episode, but definitely enjoyed this.
Yeah,
a hell of a lot
way
more.
More.
Guys, let us know what you thought down below. It's a little bit of a lengthier discussion, but there was a lot to talk about. Many real world themes, many MCU things going on. So whether it's serious or very comic booky, please let us know down below. We would love to hear your thoughts. Like the video, subscribe channel, share with your friends if you'd be so kind. And until next Falcon the Winter Soldier reaction, thanks for watching.
Thank you.